Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
Drew Kane will face a public smirching while the shooter disquisition shifts in another direction. Willow Tate will also get a caller as her engagement news spreads, so then's what GH suckers can anticipate. For starters, Jason Morgan will talk to Lulu Spencer about a reality they need to face, so they may team up on diving Charlotte Cassadine and Danny Morgan's troublemaking tendencies. As for Dante Falconeri, he'll tell Nathan West that they've to come up with an effective attestation. Dante will be all fired up for a strategy session, but the good news is Rocco Falconeri should be home for Thanksgiving thanks to the moved-up bail hail. It turns out Dante will also take another look at Curtis Ashford as an implicit suspect in Drew's case. Nathan will catch Dante by surprise in Wednesday's occasion, so we'll see if he has any studies on the matter. Speaking of surprises, Harrison Chase and Brooke Lynn Quartermaine will get a big bone when they learn Willow accepted Drew's rearmost marriage offer. Chase will have a tense discussion with Brooke Lynn, who'll realize commodity really means a lot to him. That could mean Chase will make indeed unsafe moves as he puts his job on the line to help clear Willow's name. Chase may assume Willow only agreed to the engagement because being married to Drew helps her case. Maybe Chase will plan to work indeed harder to get Willow off the hook and out of this situation he'll assume she feels forced into. At some point, Willow will get a visit from someone and assume they're there to change her mind. Since Willow hasn't stationed with the person she's talking to in Wednesday's GH exercise videotape, it may be Nina who shows up to partake her perspective. While dining out with Curtis, Stella Henry will be furious over Drew's presence at the eatery. It'll lead to Stella defying Drew and asking how numerous lives he plans on destroying this evening. Still, Drew won't watch about Stella's outburst and will make it clear that he always gets what he wants. Eventually, Ava Jerome will give Portia Robinson another source of concern, so Portia may grow decreasingly upset about Trina Robinson and the burden she feels when it comes to keeping her parents together. General Hospital spoilers say Trina will continue to lash out at Jordan Ashford and do her stylish to push Curtis back in Portia's direction, so stick with us for updates on all the drama to come. There'll be some Professor Henry Hank Dalton suggestions, Quartermaine chaos, Windmere scares and rushed marriage bells. During the week of November 24th to 28th, Drew Kane will surprise Willow Tate with another marriage offer. Meanwhile, Michael Corinthos will contemplate granting Willow access to the children again, but will her offer answer for Drew mess up her chances to see Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos? Over with Lisa Labrecht, she'll push Nina Reeves to publish commodity that'll help Rocco Falconeri, but Britt Westbourne may be more concerned about the help he's getting from Sonny Corinthos. Although Britt may sweat Sonny and his mob pitfalls will do further detriment than good, effects may work out for Rocco in the end. Sonny will deliver a stern warning to ADA Justine Turner, who may make sure Rocco's granted bail and given lower charges. Rocco is hoping to be home by Thanksgiving, so perhaps his want will come true. As for Nathan West, he'll catch Dante Falconeri off guard. Could Nathan have a Dalton indication that leaves Dante suspicious of Sonny and perhaps indeed Laura Collins as well? Nathan could at least mention his roadside hassle with Laura and how Sonny came to her deliverance. It could plant an intriguing seed for Dante that might grow into commodity more disquieting latterly. As for Harrison Chase and Brooke Lynn Quartermaine, they'll get a shock. That could tie in with Willow and Drew's engagement if she indeed accepts his offer of marriage. Next, Stella Henry will fly into a rage, so that may be due to Curtis Ashford rising to the top of the PCPD's shooter suspect list. Portia Robinson will grow decreasingly upset about the Drew situation along with her maternity riddle since Curtis still doesn't know there could be another father seeker. Isaiah Gannon isn't indeed in the circle on Portia's gestation yet, so there's much further mayhem to come in this plot. We should also talk about the Thanksgiving schedule since GH will be pirated for sports content on Thursday, November 27th. That'll be followed by another appropriation on Friday, November 28th. The week of December 1st to 5th should bring Jocelyn Jack's outrage when she realizes Jack Brennan made S. Vaughn vanish for his rebellion. Still, Brennan will remind Jocelyn that she was advised not to continue her romantic involvement with Vaughn. Jocelyn defied orders too and will have to pay for that, so she may be left wondering where Vaughn's gone and for how long. Of course, if Willow agrees to an alternate chance marriage with Drew, also they'll have some planning to do. Drew and Willow might put a rush on their espousal since it'd be better to head into her trial as a wedded couple. There'll also be some crazy developments at Windmere that tangle Lucas Jones up in some dangerous drama. Lucas' life could be at stake if he goes poking his nose where it doesn't belong. During the week of December 8th to 12th, Brooke Lynn and the rest of the Quartermaine clan may face Tracy Quartermaine's wrath for deceiving her about Ned Quartermaine's heart attack. Tracy is being left in the dark on Ned's medical fire, so she won't be happy once she eventually returns from France. You can go. Tracy will lash out over all the secret keeping and blow up over Drew abandoning Ned after he collapsed. Back with Laura, Sunny may have to watch her nearly or differently she could crack under the mounting pressure of this Dalton mess. Once Valentine Cassidy's stateside transfer is complete, Carly Spencer may also pay him a visit so they can bandy the coming phase of their Brennan takedown scheme. Plus, the Drew Shooter saga will inescapably come with many further twists and turns, so stay tuned for updates on any shocking news in the disquisition. General Hospital spoilers say the coming 3 weeks will bring some curveballs and wild moments. So stay tuned. In Hereafter's occasion, suckers can anticipate Stella Henry to go to war. Lulu Spencer demands answers about Rocco Falconeri. Plus, Portia Robinson has a new reason to freak out. Keep reading and let's talk about what's coming up in the ABC Cleaner pieces. Let's launch off with Lulu, who'll be concerned about her son. Thankfully, Justine Turner was suitable to get Rocco's bail hail moved up. Still, suckers and Britt Westbourne just learned that Jen Sidwell is responsible for Rocco's injuries. Back to Lulu, she'll issue a demand. Also, she meets with Jason Morgan. The right-hand man warns the Golden that there's a reality they need to face. Stella Henry's warpath over with Stella, she'll be on the warpath. It seems she runs into Drew Kane. The woman asks how numerous further lives he plans on ruining this evening. However, also the Solon boasts that he always gets what he wants while stuffing his face with food, if it's Drew she's talking to. Willow Tate brazen General Hospital spoilers for Hereafter's occasion reveal that Willow Tate just accepted Drew's marriage offer. Although stupefied, Elizabeth Liz Baldwin agreed to attend the Thanksgiving marriage. What neither realizes is that Michael Corinthos eavesdropped. In the coming occasion, Willow answers the door to see someone she doesn't feel to watch for. It's not clear if this is Michael, Nina Reeves, or someone differently. Still, Willow assumes they're there to change her mind about the wedding. What differently to anticipate the coming occasion will also include Dante Falconeri urgently meeting with Nathan West. The manager says, "We got to come up with an effective counter-argument." Still, it's stated that Nathan ends up surprising Dante. Meanwhile, both Harrison Chase and Brooke Lynn Quartermaine will be stunned. Also, an exercise clip for Hereafter shows BLQ saying that this means a lot to him. Chase admits that it does. Also, Portia has a new reason to worry. Does this have to do with the baby, or is this about the fake justification? Either case, Portia's problems feel to be mounting up and I wonder what the future holds for her and the future baby. Which plot are you looking forward to seeing the most on Wednesday, November 26, 2025? The baptismal water had barely settled inside the church's ancient basin when the emotional tide began to rise all across Port Charles. It was one of those eerie mornings when the town seemed suspended between blessing and disaster, when encouraging words mixed with furious threats, and every character felt on the brink of a personal rebirth or complete destruction. And at the center of it all stood Drew Kane, whose world was about to ignite in a public spectacle no one would ever forget. The day began with a quiet intensity as Jason Morgan sat down with Lulu Spencer, who arrived with the look of a mother who'd been awake for days. Lulu came searching for strength, not just answers, and Jason, though stoic as ever, offered her the closest thing he could give to a prayer. He told her they had to confront the truth about Charlotte Cassadine and Danny Morgan, whose rebellious streaks had escalated into something darker. In a way, it felt like a baptism for both of them, washing away denial to face the unsettling reality of what their children were becoming. Jason, not one to soften the blow, gently but firmly reminded Lulu that protecting Rocco meant stepping into a new phase of parenting, one that demanded brutal honesty, even when it broke her heart. Lulu absorbed his words, breathing them in like oxygen she didn't realize she needed. she wasn't alone anymore. Jason promised they would handle Charlotte and Danny together, and in that moment, Lulu felt the first spark of hope she'd had in weeks. White medium star Dante Falconeri, a man on fire and losing patience. Across town, Dante Falconeri marched into a tense meeting with Nathan West, brimming with fury and adrenaline. The shooter investigation had grown more complicated by the hour, and Dante had reached his breaking point. "We need a counterargument," Dante snapped, slamming a folder onto the desk. "Something strong enough to crush every wrong lead before it buries us alive." Nathan blinked at Dante's intensity but listened carefully. It was then that he dropped the unexpected twist that sent a cold shiver through Dante's spine, a detail Nathan had picked up during a roadside conversation with Laura Collins. Nathan confessed that during his patrol, he noticed Laura behaving suspiciously, and Sonny Corinthos appearing just moments later, as if he had been tracking her. The coincidence unsettled him, and Dante, already stretched thin, felt the foundations of the investigation tremble. Was Sonny covering for Laura? Did Laura know something she shouldn't? Was the shooter case about to pivot in yet another shocking direction? The flames inside Dante grew hotter. The people he trusted most were now threaded through the investigation, turning every clue into a potential betrayal. White medium star Willow Tate's engagement, the spark that set the town on fire. While Port Charles spiraled into investigative chaos, another storm brewed in the personal lives of the Quartermaine orbit. Willow Tate, still stunned and breathless, had just accepted Drew Kane's latest marriage proposal, a decision that spread through town faster than a scandal at the Metro Court. The baptismal symbolism continued. Willow was stepping into a new life, washed in uncertainty, fear, and the illusion of hope. When Willow opened her front door later that day, she found someone she absolutely did not want to see. Whether it was Nina, Michael, or another unwelcome visitor, her reaction was ice-cold and defensive. "If you came here to change my mind, you're wasting your time," she snapped, revealing just how fragile her certainty truly was. Every decision she made felt heavier than the last. Everyone had opinions about her engagement. Everyone had judgments. But Willow needed to cling to something, anything, that gave her stability before her trial. Drew offered that stability, or so she tried to convince herself. White medium star Chase and Brooke Lynn, shock, confessions and unspoken feelings. Meanwhile, Harrison Chase and Brooke Lynn Quartermaine were blindsided when they learned that Willow had accepted Drew's proposal. Chase's face drained of color. Brooke Lynn felt the air tighten around them like a vice. In an emotionally charged conversation, BLQ realized something huge. Willow's engagement meant far more to Chase than he was willing to admit. "This means a lot to you," Brooke Lynn whispered, watching him with new understanding. "It does," Chase confessed, jaw tightening. It wasn't love he felt for Willow, but guilt, regret, and a fierce desire to protect her from prison and from Drew's influence. Chase convinced himself that Willow had only accepted the proposal to strengthen her legal standing. And with that belief in mind, he vowed to take even greater risks, perhaps enough to cost him his badge. White medium star Stella Henry declares war. How many lives will you destroy? If there was one person in Port Charles who refused to mince words, it was Stella Henry. The moment she spotted Drew at the restaurant, rage overtook her. Stella confronted him with the fire of a woman who had carried too many burdens for too many years. "How many more lives do you plan on ruining tonight?" she demanded, her voice trembling with righteous fury. Drew didn't flinch. He didn't apologize. He didn't even pretend to care. "I get what I want," Drew replied coldly, lifting another forkful of food. It was the kind of arrogant declaration that turned a confrontation into a war declaration. Stella left shaking, wondering how many more lives Drew would crush before someone finally stopped him. White medium star Portia Robinson, a woman drowning in secrets. While Stella burned with anger, a different kind of worry consumed Portia Robinson. Every direction she turned, another secret closed in around her. Curtis was creeping up the PCPD's suspect list. Her fake alibi was on the verge of unraveling. The truth about her baby's real father hovered like a storm cloud ready to burst. And now Ava was whispering new concerns that made Portia's anxiety spike even higher. If Trina discovered the full truth, or if Curtis connected the dots, Portia feared she'd lose everything, her relationship, her daughter's trust, and the fragile peace she'd worked so hard to protect. White medium star Trina Robinson's anger explodes. Trina, fed up with lies and betrayal, lashed out at Jordan Ashford with more rage than anyone had ever seen from her. She refused to let Jordan regain ground in Curtis's life and pushed her father harder toward Portia. Trina's emotional burden grew heavier by the minute. She felt responsible for keeping her parents together, a weight no young woman should carry alone. But she carried it anyway, because the alternative was watching her family fall apart. White medium star Thanksgiving mayhem, Rocco's freedom, Nina's pressure, Sonny's threats. With Thanksgiving approaching, the stakes skyrocketed. Rocco Falconeri's bail hearing was miraculously moved up, likely thanks to Sonny leaning hard on ADA Justine Turner. Nina Reeves, under pressure from Lisa Labrecht, considered publishing new intel to help Rocco. Britt Westbourne feared Sonny's mob tactics would backfire, even as she secretly hoped Rocco would make it home in time for the holiday. Michael Corinthos wrestled with whether Willow's engagement would affect her access to Wiley and Amelia. Everyone prepared for Thanksgiving, but no one felt thankful. White medium star Wymere danger, Lucas Jones walks into a nightmare. Back at the haunted corridors of Windmere, Lucas Jones stumbled into a situation far darker than he expected. Something, or someone, lurking within the castle walls threatened to pull him into a spiral of terror. Lucas had no idea he was stepping into danger that could cost him his life. But nobody who wanders around Windmere uninvited walks out unchanged. White medium star Brennan strikes back, and Jocelyn pays the price. As December approached, trouble shadowed Jocelyn Jacks. When she realized that Jack Brennan had made Vaughn disappear as punishment for disobeying orders, she erupted. But Brennan reminded her of one thing she could not deny. You were warned. You disobeyed. Now you live with the consequences. His voice was cold, a threat disguised as a lecture. Jocelyn's world spun as she wondered whether Vaughn was alive, or gone forever. White medium star Tracy Quartermaine returns, and all hell breaks loose. When Tracy Quartermaine returned from France, she discovered everyone had lied to her about Ned's heart attack. The betrayal lit the fuse on a volcanic eruption. Accusations. Screaming. Outrage. Tracy unleashed wrath on the entire clan, especially Drew, whom she blamed for abandoning Ned and letting him suffer alone. White medium star Carly and Valentine, secret plots to take down Brennan. Meanwhile, Carly Spencer met with Valentine Cassadine to strategize their next move against Brennan. Valentine's transfer back to the States put him at the heart of the war brewing beneath Port Charles. Their discussion was like spiritual warfare, a baptism into the shadows, preparing for the fight of their lives. White medium star The Shooter Case, twists, turns and shocking revelations. The shooter investigation refused to die down. Every time Dante thought he had the truth cornered, another clue pulled him in a different direction. Was Curtis involved? Was Laura hiding something? Was Sonny protecting the wrong person? Or was the real shooter still smiling somewhere in Port Charles? The baptism of fire had begun for everyone involved. Nobody would come out of this investigation the same.